Hey everybody, we are here today with Kira from Madam Reaper. Hello, Kira. How you doing today?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Great, great. Happy to be talking to you. We were just checking out the new album, and it's awesome. We're really excited
Thank
to hear it
you.
live.
I've been singing the
Thanks.
songs all day. They've been stuck in my
Oh
head.
my God. That's funny.
So, one of the interesting things in your bio that definitely stuck out to us is that you describe your sound as vampire synth pop. Now,
Yeah.
listening to it, I get it. I think I get it. But what does that mean to you personally, and how did you land on that?
Um, so my music definitely has like an edge of goth to it. But I don't identify as like a goth artist, purely. I think that's a different kind of music. So I was just trying to think of something that signified like goth pop without coming right out and saying it. And I love vampires and think that they're really cool. So I was like, I'll just say vampire synth pop. I think that gets the idea across.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
What started the vampire love?
Oh my God. I I feel like probably, do you guys remember that movie, I think it was called like The Littlest Vampire or like
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
um it
Sure.
had the girl from Narnia. I can't, yeah, anyway, it was like a Disney Channel original movie and I loved that movie, and after that I was like, I just want to be a vampire and I still want to be a vampire.
nice.
Well, I would say
Yeah.
you are a vampire.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
thank
gets
you.
it gets the vibe across in the music. Um, who were some of your biggest inspirations when you were starting this musical project? That could be musically, stylistically.
Mhm. Yeah, so when I started it, I think my inspirations have shifted for sure, but when I started it, I would say like Kate Bush, the B-52s, Prince, um, Marina, and well, Marina and the Diamonds. Now she goes by Marina. But my influences have shifted a lot. So I would say like now I've been listening to a lot of like LCD Sound System, um, and more like electronic artists. Okay, so like I would say recently, well, I guess people always compare me to Lady Gaga, and I honestly did not really listen to much Gaga besides like what everybody has heard. But because everyone compares me to her, I started listening to her more. So I would say like she has become more of an influence, definitely with like her persona, and like the way she presents herself. There's an artist called, well, actually they're a duo called Hot and Freddie out of LA. They're like pretty new. Um, they've been kind of an influence for me. Um, yeah, those are probably the main ones right now.
Awesome. So it sounds like some of the first influences you mentioned were it's like late 70s, early 80s kind of dancey electronic stuff. And then now it's a
Yeah.
little bit more on like the dance pop side of things. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still love that music, the older stuff, but I was trying to challenge myself to like listen to newer artists because I think for a while I was like only listening to artists from before 1990, and I was like I got to branch out. So, yeah.
Understandable. Understandable.
Perfect. So, with you being from Chicago, we know Chicago has a rich musical history. How has the city shaped your sound and performance style?
I feel like so Chicago has a huge like LGBTQ and scene and like a big drag scene. And I feel like more than anything, that has shaped my performance style and my music. I've just like found a very welcoming community of people who are like super down to be really weird on stage and like very like proud of who we are, whatever that means. Um, so I feel like it's like less of like a specific sound, although obviously like Chicago house music is super important and like something that I'm trying to learn more about, but like yeah, I think it's more like the people and like the community, like letting me feel like I can express myself and be like this crazy character on stage without, worrying about like being judged or whatever.
Yeah. And are there any like specific venues that kind of let you shine the most in Chicago?
I I think for me, um, it's honestly like it's less of the venue and more of like who is coming out to the show. So obviously like the scene can be aggregated around like certain venues, but I would say like the places that I've played that I've tend to have like the best crowds and the most fun would be like the Hideout. We did our album release there and it was awesome. And Shuba's is another one that I will always love. I don't know if you guys know Chicago venues like super well, but those are two really good ones. Yeah. Also, like this is so maybe seemingly small, but like a venue that has a good green room,
Yeah.
I will always love that venue. And both
True
of those
that.
spots have good green rooms. Yeah.
True that. And when it comes to like the Chicago crowds, do you think that they respond differently to your music compared to some other cities when you've gone on tour?
So I have had excellent experiences on the East Coast. And like to me, you guys are the East Coast. I know that probably sounds
No,
insane,
we'll
but
take that. We are East Coast, yeah.
okay. And yeah, so like whenever we tour on the East Coast, like we've just had amazing crowds. And I think it's hard to compare because like in Chicago, we play here all the time. So it's like I've had excellent crowds in Chicago and I've had, you know, shit crowds in Chicago.
Right.
So I think, yeah, I think it depends. People on the East Coast just seem like they're like really down to like take a risk and come to a show that for someone that they've never heard of, which is really cool. And I don't know if people here do that quite as much, but I think that like my experiences playing in Chicago have definitely been better than like playing some other Midwestern cities.
And there's no place like home, you know?
Yeah. I mean, all my friends live here, so like
You
I
know,
have a
exactly.
built-in crowd, which is nice.
All right, last Chicago question, I promise. Chicago deep dish versus thin crust, or is vampire pizza just blood on flatbread? What is your favorite?
Okay, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, but like thin crust all the way. I love
All
New
right.
York pizza.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I know. Or
That's
even
fair.
Detroit pizza, very good, which isn't thin crust, but
Detroit pizza, very underrated.
It is good.
it is. Yeah, I'm not a deep dish girl.
No, but we won't tell them.
Except for anyone that listens to this.
Yeah.
All right. So in April, you released a new record called "This Is an Album Because the Industry Says It's Not."
Yes.
Captivating title. I really want to ask about it. What inspired the title for the record?
So after I put out my first album, which was in 2023, I think, I was, you know, thinking about like what my next project would be, and I used to drive this 2004 Honda Civic that sadly died. Rest in peace. She was a trooper, but I could only play CDs in that car, and so like I think doing like having that experience, I started to like really just only listen to albums. And I love albums as like a end-to-end art form, whatever experience. So when after I finished my first album, I was like, I wanted to put out another record, but I felt like the message that I kept getting from the industry, which, you know, however you want to take that, like people online or like people that I know personally giving me advice kept saying like, no, singles is where it's at, like put out singles. And I felt like a little frustrated by that because to me, like this pressure on artists to put out singles has to do with like a lot of things. First, with social media and streaming, like they just, whether it's music artists or like any sort of creator, like you just have to be a content machine to be able to make it.
Yeah.
And it's not really sustainable or good for you, in my opinion. It's also like not conducive to making good art. So that's the first reason. The other thing is like labels used to fund, like for better or for worse, labels used to fund a lot of most artists. And they would, you know, give them an advance, put out a record. That's what like people will buy the physical album. Like that's how things worked for most of the history of the industry.
Right.
And like now labels don't do anything other than take your money. And so like because a lot of artists are operating independently, they're putting out singles because it's like way too expensive to fund your own album, especially if you like go into a studio and the whole thing. So all of that is to say, I like really wanted to put out an album, but felt like this dissonance of like, I'm supposed to put out singles. And I feel like I have to like keep putting out content and more content. So I decided to like kind of do both as a sort of like, fuck you to all of these industry gatekeepers. to be like, oh, you want me to put out singles? Well, I'll just like put out an album, but also put out singles. So basically, I released most of the songs on the album as singles over the course of a year, like once a month roughly. Which it wasn't like super blatant what my idea was behind it, but like at least to me, I knew like what I was doing. And then like behind each singles title, I had one word from the album title in parentheses. So people that were following the whole arc could kind of be like, oh, what's the next one going to say? Like, it's like revealing a message basically.
Awesome.
So like after the fourth single, it was like the first song was like, all right, tonight, parentheses, this. And then the second song was like Satanic Tango, parentheses, is. And after the fourth song came out, it spelled out like, this is an album. And I got all these people hit me up and they're like, oh my God, you're putting out an album. I'm so excited. So it was fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know if I would do it again because it was really a lot to like put out a single once a month roughly. Kind of crazy. Yeah. And like I recorded everything by myself because I otherwise, you know, it would have been pretty expensive. And I also don't know if I would do that again.
Interesting. You said that you recorded everything yourself. Did you also do all of the mixing, mastering, other sort of production work on the record?
So I produced it, but I had someone else mix and master it. I think I would go crazy if I had to mix and master my own stuff. I would like never finish. I would just be too much of a perfectionist.
I'm sitting on a lot of stuff myself. It definitely happens. But you've mentioned before that, you know, obsessing over like sort of smaller production details is something that can happen, or like something that seems like worth doing. You know, small synth sounds like, you know, putting that extra attention to detail into the production. Were there specific production decisions on this album that you were especially proud of? Maybe something that was like something new you were able to accomplish on the production side of things that you maybe hadn't before, or little pieces of ear candy, you know, these sort of things that go into a production. Are there any real highlights on this record for you personally?
I feel like a lot of my favorite production is on the song Take My Hand. There's just like a lot of like filter sweeps and like little ear candy bits. And I like ran a bunch of the instruments through effects and like my vocals through some effects. And I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I was just like really exploring different production techniques that I hadn't dove into before. Try to think of like a specific moment. Oh, there's like this. Okay, so that song has a few breakdowns, and there's these backing vocals that are, it's like a stack where it kind of like builds. So it's like, type thing. So I ran that stack through a delay effect, like a reverse delay kind of. So it like swells. And then I bounced that delay stem. So it was only the delay, and it kind of like made this like stereo, like, it's like really cool and totally by accident. So that was one moment that I was like really happy about the way that it turned out. I wish I could say the timestamp. I'll have to look back and figure it out.
Awesome. Were there any specific producers or artists who inspired a love for the production side of things? I think production is one of those things that like each of us inherently loves to the music because it's inextricable from it. But were there any like people in particular that influenced that in you, or does it just come from a personal curiosity?
I think a little bit of both. I think it's like with each project I put out, I just dig deeper. Like production is what I've chosen to kind of dig into. So like my first record, I was really just like writing the songs and playing the parts. And then like my second most recent album, I was like being a lot more intentional about my production choices. And then now like the new stuff I'm working on is like I'm like spending way more time on production. So like in terms of people, it like really depends on the song. Like I would say the slower songs on the album, I was listening to a lot of like A.K.A. Twigs. I don't know who her producer is, but I think the production on like her stuff is really cool. That song I mentioned, Take My Hand, there's this artist or band duo, Confidence Man from Australia. It's like a dance pop project. So I was like really listening to the production on their first record, which I think they did themselves, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, just like, I don't know, like really like actively listening to the music that I like and like trying to pick apart like what the production choices are. There's not specific producers that I'm just like, oh, I love their work. I'm following, all the stuff they do, but it's more just like songs that I like and I'll listen to the production and then like borrow techniques from them.
Well, it shows on this record that you do have a good ear for detail
Thank
because
you.
in listening to it, I thought everything was super well arranged. It can kind of
Thank
be
you.
difficult from what I've heard. I haven't messed with much electronic music.
Hmm.
It can be hard to keep some elements separate or maintain
Yeah.
like impact in the production while also maybe reaching for some of the cool effects that we like to mess with and things like that. So
I think it's like so, especially when you're working with like a bunch of synths, it's just important to make sure they like occupy different frequency ranges because a lot of synths will like kind of live in the same realm. So it like what I do when I'm producing, I always kind of like do like a rough mix and then like I'll mute something and I'm like, if I can't hear when I'm muting this, like I'll just take it out because it's not like adding anything. Um, and yeah, making sure that like all my parts aren't, super buzzy, high end or like mids or whatever. I think that's a huge part of arranging. And then just like I always try to like I definitely like want and tend to like want a busy arrangement. So like I'll throw all my shit at the wall and then kind of like pare back from there and try to like be like, okay, what is the like besides the vocal, like what's the like one main part here? Because like we can't have five,
yeah, right.
So yeah, I'm definitely like a maximalist and then like try to strip back from there.
Nice. Well, you mentioned the song Take My Hand just a minute ago. And I believe I read somewhere that you said it was the first song you wrote for the new record, but that you placed it at the end of the record. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you tell us why you felt it was right to have it at the end of the track listing? Does that signify anything to you personally, or was it just like a track listing sort of choice?
So when I wrote it, it sounded really different because it was like a year before I rewrote it, probably. I think I wrote it before my first album even came out. So,
Oh, wow.
And then, yeah, my partner who also plays guitar in the band was like, you could do better. You should rewrite this or rearrange it, reproduce it. I was like, okay, you're probably right. So I did. And then it like ended up being way better than the original version. And I think I put it at the end because I think it's more like with that, it ended up being one of the last songs that I produced. I think it's more indicative of where I'm going with like my music in the future. And then with all the songs, like I was trying to think about like what is the story this album's telling? And I feel like it kind of like takes you on like a journey, I guess, to be cliche. And then like Take My Hand is like one of the few like positive songs on that record. So it ends on like a good note of like human connection and like, I don't know, emotion and stuff.
Oh, that's great. That's an awesome story.
I didn't want to like leave people off being like, okay, well, I guess I'll just like go cry now.
Yeah, right. Right.
Perfect. So if Madame Reaper had a starter pack, like 3 items that would define you, what would those be?
Okay. Fishnets.
Fishnets.
Adam too.
Yeah.
What?
Adam too.
Like big boots, like black leather boots, and like black lipstick.
Nice.
Perfect. Danny, you need to buy those for the show.
Yeah, I might have
You got
to.
to come with the starter pack ready to roll.
Mhm.
So
I keep trying to get my band to like do the whole black lipstick thing, and they're all dudes, and they're all just like, I don't like wearing it. It's so uncomfortable. I'm like,
Nah,
oh, tell them
come
to grow
on.
hair. Put some makeup
Have them
on.
watch like The Crow. You know what I
oh,
mean?
I don't know what that is.
The movie The Crow.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Oh,
Yeah, me neither.
A strong male. What would you
Makeup.
call it? Like
Lead?
just a strong male figure wearing some
Okay.
black makeup. Yeah, if they need some
Cool.
positive reinforcement.
All right, I will.
So if Madame Reaper was not doing music in this world, what would you be doing?
Oh, I would definitely be painting. This
Yeah,
is my painting back here. Yeah, I studied art in college. I love making art, but
that is
I just don't
awesome.
have like time or space right now. So I think like, yeah, if I wasn't doing music, I would be doing some sort of visual arts.
That's awesome. I imagine you find it difficult to balance the different kinds of art that you like.
Yeah, I mean, and like I work a 9 to 5, so like that takes up a lot of time, and just like I do visual arts through like designing concert posters and like merch and things like that, but like yeah, I'm not able to like really invest in that practice as much as I would like to right now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, if everybody supports Madam Reaper to the degree that I think the project deserves, because I think it's great,
Well,
um,
thank you.
maybe you'll be afforded a little bit more of the leisure time.
That would be amazing.
So your tour kicks off in Pittsburgh on September 24th. And for
Mhm.
people who have never seen Madam Reaper live before, what can they expect from a Madam Reaper show?
Um, I do not uh spare any theatrics. I am very theatrical on stage. I rehearse my ass off when I'm preparing for tour. I literally like will bike and sing or like run and sing. So I've been doing that every other day. So I'm like going to be in tip-top shape for the show. And it's going to be a really fun time. Like I try to like cultivate a really welcoming atmosphere at my shows. So everybody is welcome. And I'm really excited to meet you if you come out.
Awesome. And do you have a set predetermined? Is this something you like to switch up on the road to keep things interesting for yourself? Or do you have things pretty planned out so far?
We will generally prepare like an hour of music, and then depending on how long we're expected to play, we'll switch it up. So we'll have, you know, X number of songs rehearsed and ready. And then we can kind of be like, what are we playing tonight? But yeah, Pittsburgh is first. So we'll be like breaking out all the tunes, and we're playing 3 new songs on this tour, so I'm super
Ooh,
excited. Not even released yet. Yeah,
nice.
actually 4 songs that aren't released yet, but one of them we've been playing live a little bit. The other 3 are like brand new, so very excited. I
Awesome.
think
Exciting.
they're better, but that's
Yeah,
of course, you always think your new stuff is better.
Right.
always. Is there one song in particular that you are particularly excited for people to experience live? Is there any live standout that you guys have had or have been working on?
um okay, so one of the new tunes is like a hyper pop crazy song about like working under capitalism, and it just goes super hard, so I'm very excited to debut that one. But out of the ones that are already on the record, I would say the one that goes the hardest live is Feast, because like you've got this like super fast beat. It's almost kind of like a pop punk song live, and people usually like really enjoy it, and I tend to like go pretty crazy, so those two.
Perfect. Can't
Awesome.
wait for
Looking
that.
forward to them.
Yeah.
So, have you been to Pittsburgh before?
Yes, we played in Pittsburgh almost a year ago, last September, October.
Okay.
But other than that, I'd never been. I was so pleasantly surprised. I love Pittsburgh. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we're a little biased, but it is, I
Yeah, a
think, the
little
best
bit.
city around.
no, I love it. Like we're driving the day before, so we have the first night just to like hang out in Pittsburgh, and I'm
Oh,
so
nice.
excited to hang out in
You
Pittsburgh.
have plans for that day?
No, probably just like eat. We'll grab a drink. I mean,
Go
we
to
have
the
a whole
city?
tour ahead of us, so we can't like
Yeah.
go out and party super hard.
Right.
But
Well, don't
yeah.
party, but there's great museums everywhere, great places to eat. So, if you need some suggestions,
Yeah, no, send me suggestions. I would love that. We're staying like just south of the river, like kind of east on the east side. I don't know.
sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Just let us know. You're going to love
Yeah.
it. So, I know we asked you a lot. Is there anything that maybe we forgot to ask you or that you would like to mention or let the Pittsburgh people watching know before they come and check you out?
Are they gonna like my face is gonna be in this interview?
Yes. Hopefully,
Oh,
with
I should
hopefully,
have. Oh my God, I should have not. I like came from the chiropractor and I'm all sweaty because I
Oh,
biked home.
girl, you're fine.
do you see us?
Okay. Um, well, first of all, I don't normally look like this.
Oh,
But what else? Um, I'm just like really excited to be back in Pittsburgh and playing. I've heard like really good things about Mr. Roboto Project. We had some friends that played there and they said it was awesome. So come out to the show. It's going to be a super good time. Like if you're on the fence and you're like, I don't know this band. I'm going alone. My friends won't come with me. Like come out. We'll be nice to you. We love meeting new people. That's our whole thing. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Amazing. Well, Madam Reaper for life, we appreciate you taking time out to come and chat with us. Don't worry, we'll also have a radio version of the show too. So
that's okay. I mean, now you know what it's like to be my coworkers because I work from home. So
no, I have 2 work from home days a week, and I can tell you they're a little brutal. But no, this went amazingly well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
We'll see you.
Thank you for having me,
Mr. Roboto Project.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.